Lord, I do ask you that, Father, even as she ministers to your people, may you bless her, the utterance of her mouth, Jehovah God. That everything she's going to say, Lord, will also bring glory and honor to your name. And above all, the people who are listening, your servants, Jehovah God, may you allow them to be of impact in their life, and also, Jehovah Father, to apply in their day-to-day life, Jehovah God. For it's in Jesus' mighty name I do pray.
Amen. Good afternoon. Yes, I don't know what else to say about myself except that I'm a farmer. I'm from Saga, Managu, Murenda. Yes, some things I didn't know how to cook, but now I'm learning. And I can tell you, those from Central, from my village, you will be missing very nice food. I can see the Murenda eaters are smiling. Yes, I am born again, and I am a witness of the Lord Jesus Christ. And Lord, to me, it is a calling. Otherwise, I would have quit it long time because of so many sleepless nights. Stress him not to let especially when we are dealing with children's matters, but we've been called and we are serving God in this ministry. Advocacy is where I'm more involved. Advocacy on the laws to do with women, children, generally the family. And constitution making process is what we watch. That's what we did 2010 with the churches to fight basically for the family, the right to life, and from those people, fight those people who want to redefine the family to read something other than what God has ordained. Today we are going to do marathon. I ask you to belt up. It's going to be a roller coaster. So chukweni kalamu, utaandika maswali, masaa imeenda, ni kukimbia. What are we going to cover today? The law and its sources. You know, women and marriage, women and the family, women and the children, women and matrimonial property. Is this thing sounding well? Okay. Women and economics, women and land, women and succession, women and safety, and how to enforce the rights. You all know what law is. Law is a set of rules that are created and are enforceable by social or governmental institutions to regulate behavior. It's a science and art of justice. The rule of conduct developed by the government or society of a certain territory. That is what law is. We can even create it in our homes. By the way, some homes have constitutions. And I'm asking some people to grow. We are making a constitution. It is there in Article 2 of the Constitution. We didn't understand it well, but by and by, we understand it. Then there are treaties and conventions ratified by Kenya. These are the ones that govern at the AU level, at the UN level. You can enter into treaties to govern, and then those ones will bind the countries that are ratified. And then there are judicial interpretations, which is what we used for a long time. What judges say. Why should we be concerned about the law? And I'm thankful that you came. It is because law affects us all the time. Law has been used to oppress people. You know very well the time of Moses. A law was passed, that was a decree. All children, boy child, to be killed. The time of Daniel, we know very well. A law is passed, everybody must worship this one. Esther time, law passed, killed the Jews. The law of meats and passions, which could not even be amended. And then Jesus passed, and all the boys. So law has been used to oppress people. Law has been used for good reasons, like the time of Cyrus and Darius. They're the ones who said, Jews are free to go back to Jerusalem to rebuild, and they put it in writing and they sealed. Law has been used to suppress faith. Don't we know that very well, especially in the countries where there is oppression of Christians. Laws have been used to sanctify sin because some people believe what is legal is not sinful. And that's why there's a lot of talk about decriminalizing sodomy, which we know under the faith is a sin. But if you decriminalize it, if you say it's a human right, maybe it's something They are human dignity, equity, social justice, inclusiveness, equality, human rights, non-discrimination, good governance, integrity, transparency, accountability, and sustainable development. So bear that in mind as you look at the laws that we have. Will they be equitable? Will they promote social justice? Will they promote inclusiveness? It is. Women and marriage is one first thing we are going to cover. I know very well we are all generations, and God has placed us, or we find ourselves in different stations. Some of us are married, other people are not married, others are widowed, others divorced, etc. But it's important to learn about marriage because it will affect your daughter, your sister, your someone else, another woman in your life. Now, under Article 45 of the Constitution, we talked about family. And what we have captured in our Constitution is the right to marry a person of the opposite sex. And then under the same article we have said, women and men have equality before marriage, during marriage, and at the dissolution of marriage. We'll look at what exactly that is. And then last year, finally, we got the first ever Kenya National Family Policy. This is what should inform our government in all matters to do with the family. And that is why we will find even the women. I'm very proud of the National Family Policy because it's something, the organization that I led then, the Kenya Christian Professionals Forum, we worked very closely with the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection to create the National Family Policy. It was approved by Cabinet last year. The salient features now of our Marriage Act, before 2014 we had so many marriage acts. The African Christian Marriage and Divorce Act, the Marriage Act, the Hindu Marriage, the Mohammedan Marriage and Divorce Act. But 2014 we enacted one act for all Kenyans, but we created different provisions for everyone. Now, salient features are just few items I'm going to pick which I think are of importance, or greater importance. Dowry is a token. You know what a token is? Yes, dowry is a token. We did quantify it. Kiasi kinatosha. Lakini najua ukienda kwa Wakamba, lazima tulete boisia Muslim. Correct? The blue ones have something called Nyombo, whatever it is. Hey, the Kikuyus are famous because we are the ones who charge dowry like a motor vehicle. German machine, you know? Not just a machine, it's a good machine. Dowry is a token. Marriage is a voluntary union. So we have outlawed all forced marriages, including forced wife inheritance. Monogamous, you can be in a monogamous marriage or a polygamous marriage. Interesting. We had not legislated polygamy, but now we have, which is a departure from up to you. If divorce comes, or, by the way, some people are refusing their marriage. I am in the court of appeal on cases where the man said, I am not married. 17 years into marriage, 2 children, property, good property, and good property in good estates. And he said, I'm not. Now we have to prove you are married. Do you know who he goes to? Ule mzee alifanya ule chairman. Kutoka Nyeri. Tunamule want to ask if he's going to be with the Lord. Evidence is getting lost. I can tell you, there are many cases in the Milimani, at least I can talk about our courts here in Nairobi, where 17-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 10 years old, the court has held there is no marriage. There is one I did 17 years. Umeangalia mama na baba. Umeandikwa kwa obituary. Was mother-in-law to Mbugua. And then now, nimepeleka hiyo makaratasi yote. The lower court said there is no marriage. The high court said the other day there is no marriage. I'm heading to the court of appeal. Now, why there is no marriage is because something called Mbugua was not done. So they say it has to be according to the rights of the community. This is where the challenge is. So they say a Kikuyu marriage is not complete unless there is Mbugua. Yeah. We thank God we're in CITAM. We don't have to do those things. You come here and the pastor weds you. Part the check you my child and your mom. Because Mbugua is really a blood covenant. Yes. Now I can see you are angry. Please get angry. To make you angry. Now we have outlawed child marriages. We are going to ask whether you are married. We are going to do a test to you. Anybody who doesn't, who is staying with a man as a husband and does not have a marriage certificate, tutaangalia kama wewe ni married. Kagua. So when the next Jubilee wedding for CITAM, watu waingia kwa wingi. Yes, mzee umwambia kuje, men's ministry hii gospel ipelekwe quietly. Because men are the ones who refuse to formalize. Women wametengeneza nguo, hata unajua ni kina nani watasimamia Veronica. I also have relatives who have been saying, I'll even buy the cake. Nitanunua keki hata nguo. Karibu ufanye sherehe yote mtu akuje harusi. Kuja tu your own wedding. Now, other features we've outlawed child marriages, and the kinds of marriages we have is Christian, Hindu, customary, civil, Islamic. Out of those, Christian, civil, and Hindu are monogamous. You cannot convert a Christian marriage to polygamy. Of course, our men try, and some people have really, what they do is to go and pay dowry for another. Then we have a problem. They say, oh, hata huyo ni wangu kwa Kikuyu, Kikamba, na kadhalika. You can convert a potentially polygamous marriage to a monogamous marriage. That is the Jubilee wedding we are talking about here. If you are married under custom, your marriage is potentially polygamous. Atapata tu mwingine na atawekwa another estate na watalipa dowry. Sasa ni wawili. Now that's so before he does so, you bring to church. What we'll be doing is to convert a potentially polygamous marriage to monogamous. Hallelujah. Amen. void because there was a court order forbidding that marriage. And then where there is no consent, okay, you wonder how people marry without consent. But it's not possible for us because you have to come and dowry has to be paid fast. And then where the party is absent, except in Islamic faith, you can marry in absentia. Yes, you can actually marry in absentia across continents. The bride is in Canada, it is under some Sharia law. And then if your marriage is conducted by an authorized person and you knew, I mean, it's like a mock marriage, there is no marriage. And then mistaken identity like Jacob, if Jacob married today, Leah did. That marriage is void because of two things. This is not the one. Yes, and then the fraud of the father. Yeah. That's why people should marry. By then the Kenyan law, the wedding should be up to 6. Jacob alifanywa hivi kwao kuna midnight. Hadharani. Yeah, and if you actually marry like in a home or garden, you get a special license. And then there are voidable marriages. Voidable marriage can continue being a marriage unless one of us says it's not. One situation where it's not consummate, that is sexual intercourse, is an ingredient of marriage. Now, this one is not for the second one is not for us Christians. You can't have insanity because you don't divorce a brother who is unwell. Insanity actually is sickness. So this is one area I fault our law. And when you didn't give notice to the registrar of marriage, then you're voidable. And where there was a notice of objection, ile tumeita hapa kanisa. If anyone has a valid reason, there was an objection, but you continued to, that marriage is voidable. And then where there is no capacity to officiate, and here some of our pastors have been caught. There are pastors who conduct and they have no license. So that marriage then becomes voidable. Failure to register the marriage. Now, then one wonders about the customary marriages, most of them are not registered. Divorce grounds are those ones: cruelty, adultery, desertion, exceptional depravity, irretrievable breakdown, and after divorce, or in the course of divorce, either can maintain their. A man can sue you for maintenance because of the principle of equality. Especially if you are on mfuko na our brother hana mfuko mzuri. Women fought for equality. This is a downside of equality. So ujipange anaitisha kakitu. Challenges in customary marriages. We had already mentioned unfulfilled rights, lack of evidence. Then you have to go look for people to bring them to Nairobi, pay and give them and Christianity, many of us are not half Christians when it comes to these rights. Unapotea hapo ndani. Is marriage a covenant or a contract? They still that Christians and people think it's a contract. For us Christian, it's purely a covenant. And then there's a big issue of commercialization of the marriage. When we are asking our girls, please forget about the trail. Because Diana broke the record. There is no record you're going to break. My wedding the young people are having extremely expensive marriages. The photographer alone, the pesa ngapi? 300 and something. Yes. Haya, hili ya huku, hapa, 5K. Just put Vaseline. Get the certificate. So let's stop commercializing marriage. In any case, we are not going to break any, See, people have broken the record. What is family? Article 45 of the Constitution, because that is what marriage creates. But there are also families that come even without marriage, like single-led families. Article 45 defines family as a basic unit of society and the basis of social order. Do you agree? Yes. In our languages, we call family what? What do you call family? Nyoba. The canvas? Moses. Joshua said what? Called it what? Yes. So that is what family is. Family stands for security, warmth, unity, everything. That's why we value it. That's why we are here. So we have the married couples families. We have single parent-led families because of death, divorce, or those ones who are never married. All these are marriages. They are captured in our families, and they are captured in our family policy. Now, who is a woman? Because this ministry, today, we are dealing with a women's ministry. Who is a woman in the family? Who are you in your family? Who are you? You are looking at my notes. You don't fail the exam. Diplomat, a peacemaker. There is where we have the case of Abigail of the Bible. Of course, some people have verified Abigail of the Bible. Aliongea sana juu ya sukari, nini mashuka, peleka. Yes. Because mother-in-law is a very powerful ally. But if you make her an enemy, uko kwa shida. Conversely, mama, huyu msichana wako, the destiny of your son has a link to her. If you want your son miserable, chokoza nyumba yake, chochea, haribu, hata watoto watapata mashida. So let us use this power God has given us as women for the stability of the home. Now, the mother is a protector. Anaingia room zote. Is the only person who enters all rooms. House girl room, master bedroom, kwa watoto. It means you can do a lot of peace and protection na kujua nani halali, nani ako na bia kwa room yake nini. Have you ever wondered where the mother of Tamar, the only daughter of David, was when she was raped by her brother? Because a mother has that instinct. I think your brother, step-brother, anataka umpatie nyumba, chakula, na umpelekee kwa pendi. Na ukifanya mgonjwa. Alafu there are other people wanasema nyinyi toke. Where was mother? Tunaendelea. Women and children. This is where I know you can fight. If you want a lioness to kill you, Caribbean, this is what this preacher said. What a mother sings in the cradle goes all the way to the coffin. A mother's heart is a child's classroom. The person who placed us in this room knew this is the right room for us. Because this is Sunday school. Tuko kwa cradle ya kanisa. So women, our greatest area of influence is a cradle. Because what you sing in the cradle goes to the grave. And, by the way, we have the freedom to man the cradle. Is there a competition in the cradle? No. In fact, we always complain, I mean, yeah, but you have higher opportunity to influence the child. So we need to start influencing Kadogo from the cradle. The good men we are going to get in future will be because of our singing the right gospel in the cradle. So women are the biggest influencers in the world. True or not true? Hallelujah. According to Meshika. That's why we also need to fight for the life that begins at conception. Women should be on the forefront in fighting abortion because it brings the culture of death in the family. Now I start borrowing from other speakers. 51% of Kenya's population is Gen Z, that takes 30, and Gen Alpha, that takes 21. That is a presentation by Reverend Simon Cameron, the other one. What does that tell us? These people, the young people who are in our homes, we still have the biggest influence. It's a constituency we can minister to. Children obtain 50% of moral guidance and parental authority from the family. That is presentation by Pastor Precious Cole. So we have a chance, but where is the other 50? It's been taken by media and many other people. That's why I'm calling women, guard the cradle. Because hapa ndipo tuna move. Challenge is that people are very eager to wrestle this parental authority from parents. Best approach in conflict for those of us who are unlucky to have custody rights. Focus on the best interest of the child. Separate parenting from marital issues. Partnership, you have a long way with that guy. Long way. Legal custody. The things we fight about legal custody. The right of parents to decide issues to do with the children. It's about decision. Care and control is what the mother has. In many cases. A mother actually has superior. Women, when they are fighting for custody, they have actually a better chance. And I always tell them, when I'm acting for the man, please pray that the magistrate does not watch the CITAM on National Geographic on the day of judgment. Because she's such a devoted citizen. If they watch, you are done. The magistrate will think like many animals, in the animal kingdom. You pray they watch the penguin. Because the penguin, they cooperate very hata baba anaachwa na yai. Sa ile mama anaenda kukula. And then the other thing we deal with is maintenance, which is shared with many people are fighting about it, but I keep saying money actually is a lesser thing. Because there are children who've gone to top schools, but they are bent and broken. Money does not make a child. People should not fight over money like hakuna kesho. Mungu anaweza bariki mtoto hata akienda ya serikali. Shule ya serikali na mbariki awe mtu wa maana. Na anaambia mama, if the man has refused doctor and you have the ability, do it. Why? I'll answer another day. Co-parenting principles, those are the things we deal with in the church. I have to run because of time. Matrimonial property. Money. We have the Matrimonial Property Act 2013. Salient features. Properties acquired before marriage are not matrimonial property unless they are developed within marriage. Property inherited before marriage is not matrimonial property unless someone acquires interest in it in marriage. What is contribution? Domestic work. Kufagia na kungarisha. Tuendelee. Contribution. When we go to court to divide property, the factors we consider is something called contribution. What did you contribute? Contributing can be financial or non-financial. So non-financial includes domestic work, kungarisha masufuri, kungarisha. presence. Akienda kulipa mafundi mzuri mwende. Then you get to know inaenda, mahesabu inaenda. Yeah, but this thing of saying oh, nani is should be carrying alone. Hey, shida ikikuja kuna kashida. So that is contribution. Now, under Kenyan law, you can have prenuptial agreements, and it is sad. I'm talking about prenuptial in church because in church, tunasema hapa, ile yote niko naye. But when you start fighting, and some of you are in court, nobody says, nobody brings those ones. So, Pastor, don't hear me if you're here, but hapo iko kuna shida. Then joint ownership. In case you are holding property in joint, as joint owners, when divorce is done, we deem it to be 50-50. But it is a rebuttable presumption. As to mean someone can come and show they contributed more. Property in the name of one is deemed to be held by that person in trust of the other. So don't worry if property is in the name of one. Because you can go and show contribution. Direct and indirect. By the way, monetary contribution is direct and indirect. Direct is the one unapeana inaenda HF. You know? Ama purchase price is $1 million, you give 500. But kuna ile akisukuma nyumba na wewe unanunua maziwa na nyama na saga kutoka kwa mdogo. That is indirect contribution. Higher. Then you can acquire property in the name, you can acquire interest in a property in the name of the other if you contribute in the name it was acquired before marriage. And then you should not be evicted from the matrimonial home without a court order. The matrimonial home should not be charged or leased without the spousal consent. But some people are very good in signature forging. Now, I heard someone say the other day, siku hizi kina mama hawatoroki. Have you noticed? Unless your life is in danger, usitoroke. Because when you toroka, you lose interest. Sometimes it's easy to negotiate when you are there. There are some women I have told Katie how to negotiate. And because he doesn't want to see you every day. Then now you can put demand. Nikaenda, nikiwekewa kanyumba pahali, ama nikihamia kule. Lakini ukienda kufuli na badilishwa nini, askari analetwa mwingine. Sasa ukikuja anasema, who are you? Ati I'm the mother. No, mzee alisema hakuna mtu anaingia. So, salient features. Gifts. If you are given a gift during marriage, Mercedes Benz for your birthday, hallelujah. The law says it's you as a presumption is absolute. But ikiwa kuna maloni umechukua when you are married, ni yenu mgawane. Ikiwa ulikuja naye ikiwa yako, ni yako unless it is going to develop the we property. Consideration of culture is there, but subject to Article 10 of the Constitution. In case of polygamy, when there are many wives, how do we divide property? First of all, I don't know where they're dividing when each wife is divorcing. But the first wife gets 50-50 before wife 2. If he declares and bring wife 2, and you are divorcing, when the 50-50. Alafu hao wengine wakikuja, what is it? Okay, you know the joke to get up, you need to run. Wengine wakikuja, tuseme ashindwe. The ones who bring, if they divorce, then his shares continue to reduce. It is watagawani. Let's put it this way. We tried to enact this one, and it is so difficult even for lawyers. It was just not meant to be. Yeah, that's the way I see it. Division and divorce. For you to get division of property, you must be divorced. Not a good thing. But in case you are not ready for divorce, you can go for something called division. If property is below 20 million, you can go to a magistrate's court. If it's beyond, you go to the high court. What you'll be required to do to prove contribution. Now, remember the Constitution had said we are equal before marriage, during marriage, and at the dissolution of marriage. the Supreme Court of Kenya in 2023 pronounced it, black and white. Equality under Article 45 does not mean 50-50 split when it comes to property. That is the case of organ total versus organ total. So that is sealed. Kazi sasa ni kuprove contribution. Women and economics, I'm going to jump this. This is about employment. But if you're in employment, come up with policies that would promote good environment for women. So lobby for policies. The Act talks about the maternity, etc. I was very surprised. I saw there is one that has actually menopause policy. Which is it's a good policy in the sense that you should allow me to present without this furana because I have my own climates. If not disrespect, we will generate my own climate. It comes with golden age, maybe starting a little early. Alright, women and land just running due diligence. I just wanted you to know due diligence has been heightened. We used to do just searches, but the Supreme Court again said in the Dina case 2021, you have to go behind the title, the search, to know how the one selling to you acquired title. This is land which actually I think is the former President Moi, that is his company. It lost a lot of land under this Dina case. Because the person who had acquired it, I think, had a faulty title. So, kupeperusha title tu, kusema I'm the registered owner is not enough. If its roots are faulty, mti linatakiwa kuanguka. Now, women need to understand joint tenancy versus tenancy in common. Joint tenancy is what I would imagine many people of God in CITAM are registered as. Kamau Wanjiro, whether they say joint or not, is joint in marriage. Now, you own 100% of that property, and he owns 100% of that property. It just depends on who dies first. So if the law takes you home, and we are all, the law takes you home first, he will be registered 100%. In fact, this property does not go through succession. You go with the death certificate to land's office, and the transfer is done. Anytime I say that, I find women get very sad. And I'm observed. Women like joint tenancy in their lifetime, especially when you're going to fight their relatives. But women don't like joint tenancy when they die first. Yeah. The statistics, however, show that women in most cases, women outlive. So joint property could benefit more women than men. But hiyo kitu inaleta shida vile anaona sasa mimi nimeenda kwa Mungu. Hii kitu nilikuwa nafikiria 50 itaenda kwa watoto. I even see some putting it in their will. By the way, don't put joint property in the will. Because he owns 100%, you own 100%. Whoa, you are even more sad now. Now, there is another one called tenancy in common. Tenancy in common is where the shares are divided. So you can say in equal shares. Then you can will your 50%. Okay. Women and succession, tunakimbia sana. We are heirs if our fathers die. Under Article 27, we are entitled to equal rights with our brothers. And the court has been very firm with this. Everywhere girls have come fighting, they have won. So the courts are upholding that. But there is always a catch with ancestral land. Ile ni shaggy. Because there is fear, sasa iko kule Ingo. Utaleta bwana huko Ingo, ukati huko. There is something about Africans in our land. We always fear that you'll bring the family of Njoroge to Kamau's property. a plot in Mbugua and ananipatia hiyo. So the court they've been trying to do that balancing act. Now the fight for land it started the days of Joshua. You know these daughters of this name, I've tried to pronounce it. What are you doing with the Zer's daughters went. Yes. And God said, wapatie. But they had to agitate for it. So the fight for daughters and land did not start now. But however, with this new regime, we could be lucky. Now, succession planning. I don't know why this one keeps going like that. Now you are the one now planning your estate. Tumetoka kwa baba yako, sasa tuko kwako. A woman can do a will. A woman can give the gifts in a lifetime. A woman can set up a foundation or a trust. But I always know there's a dilemma with married people. What is yours? What is his? Where is the boundary? Which one can I put in my will? Which one? Yes. That's why these lawyers are here. If you do everything, you will not come to us. So I'm also not going to answer. Uende kwa wakili, mukague. Mujue which one you can freely put in a will without any contest. I have acted in matters where men have put even what is in your name in their will. They even say, the land in Kajiado, I give my wife 50% and the son 50. But the title is reading wife. Listen, how did he give? I've seen it in so many. I don't understand. Hii makaratasi ni ya kulifukuza hapa. No. Is it? Magari. Okay, Magari are going to take my title. KCE 459J. KDD 258G. KCW 585V. KCT 034U. KDL 010C. Tokeni. Now, so wills. Okay, wills. For you to do a will, you need to be an adult of sound mind. Now, these days, it's hard to tell who has sound mind. You should do the will out of your free will, no coercion, no duress. There should be clarity, and that's why you need a lawyer. Clarity, it's not mumbling, it should be so clear. You need two witnesses who see you sign at the same time. So don't do that thing that men used to do, and then they say, nikienda kwa ile box ya blue, una karatasi. Aliandika karatasi peke yake. So he signed. But in Angu, haina two people who saw you sign at the same time. Don't keep wills in the house. The house girl, as they clean, they'll find it. Ama ukienda hospitali, those with naughty children, kagua. So keep it with a lawyer or in the bank. I think a lawyer is a better choice. Let me advertise the lawyers here. Now, who is your heir? This question is best, I wish this question is being asked to men. But under the Law of Succession Act, we got an amendment in 2021, which reduced the heirs. Now the dependents are spouse, children, others if taken into, these are other relatives, who could have been taken by the deceased into their home, and he was immediately maintaining them. Otherwise, we'll throw out all the people who have come to Saidiwa. So there is a caveat there. And then the former wife used to be in this list. She's now out. The wife who is in this list must be a wife recognized under the Marriage Act. Remember the Marriage Act? Yes. But there is a non-relative who can be your heir. That is the one if you have maintained for 2 years prior to your death. I did mischief this one. You all can. ghost the other one. So they form a union here. Now Mzee never liked people to take him to pay down. Unasikia walionekana. You see, with kina nani, people used to cook for, you know, Mzee Nani used to come to your home. Wameenda kupea dawari kuu. Now, the act had protected that woman, especially where dowry has been paid. So I don't know whether this is the same person who has come under another color, amekuja na ingine. But there is some safety net because that person will sweat to prove how the person got married, yet there was a monogamous marriage. Because you should not convert a monogamous marriage to Now when you're doing your will, you have no duty to equalize the children, but I would say be fair. Please do not leave out even Mbugua. You all know Mbugua? Mbugua is the one who made the parents have sleepless nights. So Mbugua is also a child under the law. Maybe what we can give the Mbugua ni ile kashamba, ile iko na mawe, awe akiharvest, awe akifanya mining. Then Mbugua will not have. But if you give Mbugua kabisa, you have a problem. So Mbugua, hapo, ile iko kule chini. Now, of course, we have the DNA menace proving. Now, these days we are saying, if there is suspicion, and we've done so in some instances, we have preserved the specimen. Because exhumation cases zinakuja. Oh, this was my father, So DNA is being done, and if there is any good reason to suspect, DNA can be done, and they will preserve the sample, bury the person. Now, if you die with a will, the executor takes over the estate and does the work. If you die without the will, the court has to appoint administrators who are front in line, the spouse, children. How many can you have? Maximum 4. What is their work? To collect and to protect and to go to court and to fight for division of the property in a fair way. Documents needed, but we are a chief who is becoming a big problem. The chief is waiting for people to broker peace there, broker deals. Now, mwingine anasema wasipatiwe barua mpaka wakubali wanipatie nyumba ya Lavington. So, the chief does not have those powers. His work is just to identify wale waliachwa na ule and so they apply and finally issues are determined. Women and safety, as I come to an end, this is protection against, this our safety, especially now, not good. Femicide has gone up. So the Bill of Rights protects everyone from torture, inhuman treatment, privacy, gives privacy. The Penal Code is there, the Sexual Offences Act, FGM Act. We have so many conventions of the rights of women, etc., etc. And we have, by the way, an act called Protection Against Domestic Violence Act. And under the Children's Act, you can actually go for something we call exclusion order, especially if there is violence in the home and the children are affected. Now, what we are dealing with under all these acts is the issue of incest, the tarmac case. Incest has really gone up in Kenya. And we have to do something. And anytime I talk about incest, I remember my very good friend and soldier in this advocacy journey, Dr. Jean Kaya. Before she died, we had actually started working with the government to fight incest. I call for more women to fight this fight. But wherever we are, we need to be suspicious. I think it's good to be suspicious. How do you live, young girls with cousins who came from wherever, mountains? By the way, father is strongly there. Grandfather. There are cases of grandfather. Who is in the list? There are statistics that show a child is not safe with quite a number of people. Rape case, the Dinah story, you all know about it, and how the brothers went to revenge and what came out of it. But the harm that Ladies and gentlemen, ladies only. I want you to go watch a YouTube movie. It's called The Story of David's Only Daughter. It is extremely moving. Sorry? The story of David's only daughter. It shows the challenges and the silence, conspiracy of silence in homes. Lack of keenness, no observation. That's why I asked, where was Tamar's man? Where was David, who was even involved in this thing of your son is sick, is requesting his sister? That's rubbish. Influence of bad advisors. They came and they said that this is how to mature and immature. David's lack of discernment. But David also had a problem, lack of moral authority, because he himself had committed a sin not very far from this one. There was Tamar's genuine but naive concern. Genuine. She went out of all the way to help the brother. But it's a bit naive. Unresolved conflicts. When this happened, David didn't summon the sons to put things right. So there's an unresolved whatever. Conspiracy of silence is there, and then the revenge by Absalom. What can we do? I've already said it. Be watchful. Do not be naive. Speak out. Share information. Pray for discernment. Be sisters keeper. But let us not be for shelters. For court can. Now we have court annexed mediation. That is really, really helpful. Media sometimes help publicity, like especially on cases of violence and incest, especially when they're dealing with neighbors who are silent, but you as a neighbor, you can see there's a challenge. Negotiation is another skill which lawyers use to get you what you want without going to court. Advocacy, speaking about these things, agitating, setting up a shelter place, do something. Arbitration, litigation, and prosecution of criminal cases. Women have a lot of synergy, and there's a lot we can do together. Just think about Deborah, Barak, and Jabez. Sometimes in our team we'll have even the man. Deborah got the message from God, passed to Barak. But Barak said, "Hata wewe kuja kwa Ani." But Deborah said, "The glory will go to a woman." Who is that woman? Jael. A woman we don't even know about. Who applied a lot of wisdom. Sisera came, wounded, but akamuingiza kwa nyumba, akampatia chakula, akilala. How I wish we knew how to slay giants quietly. Whole negotiation. Tamar and Judah, do what you can. Like Jacobed of old who hate Moses. Sometimes the law, even if the law is there, if you're convinced about the good thing, you can do something. Now, the attitude we should have, Philippians 1:27. Whatever happens, conduct yourself in a manner worthy of the gospel. Romans 12:18. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. But it's not all about us and the Kenyan. I want to introduce you to the sovereign judge. Twice I've spoken to the judicial judges for Christ, the Judges Christian Fellowship. And the last topic I took to them is the sovereign judge. He's a lawgiver, he's all-knowing, he cannot be compromised, he's a warrior for the weak, especially the widow. He is a judge of judges and the king of kings. So we issued a declaration borrowing from songs. Waymaker. Sometimes I've acted for clients whose backs are against the wall. All odds are against them. If it's land, it is going. If it is a house, you're being thrown out. But I want to tell you, God is a way maker. God can make a way. I've also acted for people where we look like we are losing. People are bribing here and there. But I know our God will turn it around. I know my God will turn it around. And God has turned around so many situations. I can testify over the 31 years I've practiced, especially fighting for widows. I always tell people, don't fight a widow. Don't. You're going to lose. So The Lord is our lawmaker. The Lord is our king. It is he who will save us. God bless you.
I will request our speaker to just have a seat. I've summarized some of our questions because most of them are interrelated. And because of time, we're actually supposed to have completed by 5:10. We are way past. We are way past our time. And I trust God that we still find time. Because to be honest, the law cannot cover everything. There's quite a lot. And what we are doing today, it was just to scratch the surface so that even as you live here, you know that there's something you can do. The law is available to protect you. Just like I know some of you did not know that property that is not registered, in your name, you still have a right to it, and you can enforce it so that you don't feel helpless. So for some of the questions that I've summarized, can you allow me to go through them? And just in case I may not have directly tapped in your question, but I believe it is summarized. Yes, there are questions that I have received them. So the first one, and I know our speaker will take note, and that covered, there are 10 of them. So I can read maybe the 10, and then maybe after that you can respond. So the first one is right of a wife after husband has left and marries another woman, especially on property. How do you prove contribution? The husband has left and married another woman. I know she had partly covered it, but maybe perhaps she can also emphasize on it. And the other question was, what is the place of cohabitation as with the current law? That is the Marriage Act. Is it still being recognized? Can you come and say you've stayed with your spouse for 20 years, 30 years, 50 years? Maybe perhaps it's also important. I know maybe she may have covered it, but since that was also a question by many of us women here, I think she can now conclusively give the answer after even making that presentation. The other question that I noticed that many of us had asked is with regards to land disputes. What is the position where the registered owner has passed on and the property or the title had not been transferred? This was, I think, one of the ladies had asked on behalf of the mother who had purchased the property. The mother is deceased, and the registered owner is also deceased, and the children of this registered owner did succession, and that property has now passed to them, yet they are staying on that particular property. How can they enforce their rights? Can they be evicted? And then also on the same issue of the land disputes, there was a question touching on a purchaser who had not yet completed payment of the purchase price. I think they had agreed to, I'm not so sure if they had agreed, but she said there were some rental homes on that property, which the purchaser was to pay, but he has refused to pay. What is legal standing with that issue? How can she go about it to enforce her rights? The other issue was also in regards to property, where a wife is jointly registered with a husband and they have taken a facility, and the husband wants to sell the property. You remember our speaker has, she has in passing mentioned about the position of joint ownership. So this is a case where one of these joint owner wants to sell, and you is also registered on the title. You don't want the property to be sold. Now, how does that? How do we go about it? Yet both of you are alive. Remember, the speaker says, for as long as one person passes on, the roll call is called before the other. The one who is surviving automatically. And I think she said most of the women sometimes they're normally not very happy because they expected maybe how wakitangulia, the husband should not take everything. But now when it goes now to the husband, you know what happens? Most of the time maybe the husband will remarry And the property after the sweat of the mother, what happens to it? So the other question was inheritance. I think she mentioned, but this one stated that being a lady, the succession was done and the brothers left her out. What can she do? Can she challenge a grant that has already been confirmed and she has been locked out from sharing the estate of the parents? The other question is support of children. We've also experienced quite a number of questions where the father of the child has left the home and the mother has been left with a child. How can she ensure that the father of this child also supports the child? Where is the point of start to ensure that she does not raise the child alone? The other question touching on children, someone mentioned that there was a judgment or that touching or allowing a father to take a 4-year-old child and a breastfeeding child, custody given to the father. So she was asking, how can she challenge that judgment, considering also the term you are told, when it comes to custody, priority is given to the mother. So what is her legal recourse to such a position where the court has given the father custody of a child who is actually breastfeeding? And then, the absentee father talks. There was also a question or two I saw on domestic rape. How can a woman or a wife who has experienced domestic rape, is it recognized in Kenya? And how can she go about it? And then also there was a question on, I think there's a lady who said that at the workplace, she had received threats to be killed by the boss and reported the incident to the DCI, but it appeared like the DCI was compromised and she's fearing for her life. How does she ensure she escalates that now to an independence, either DCI, or how can she secure her life? Yes, I think she can, speaker, you can answer as I maybe check on the other questions that we have just received. Okay. I know I've received other question. I'll just summarize, I check on them. So we'll allow our speaker to, there's water there, but I think
yeah, I told you the climate will come. I know this is safe space. Yeah. By the way, one of the reasons I really thank God for is that in my life I've suffered very serious health issues. I'm actually here purely by the grace of God. So ukiona nimetoa hiyo, it is for a very good reason. How do you prove contribution? We have gone through that. Now the court does appreciate the fact that in marriage you can't have marriage where when we are sharing things, I ask my husband, sign here. The marriage you break before, hata tujenge hiyo mjengo. So the court understands the dynamics of the family. So I always listen to lawyers who say, do you have any record to show you give him 100,000? Of course there's no record. But you can have records. You can do bank transfer, M-Pesa, cash. It's not a good way to trade. So that is now the direct contribution Kenya shares. We used to take paper, so many maziwa, nini, but these days, if you swipe your card, those will have cards. Those with M-Pesa, if you do lipa na M-Pesa, you actually have a record of what you've been buying. Actually, records have become easy. However, we've been urging the court to actually place a premium on the soft contribution, the non-monetary contributions, because that's what makes a family. It is champion. It is the warmth in the home. It is companionship. This is big. And I tell them, someone left your home, Mrs. Mbugua, you left home. Ukakuja huku kupeana companionship. Surely, someone left their home to come to be with you. It should be a premium. So the courts are sensitive to this, and we have many ile achia. Kwenda shule kuchia kadogo kakifanya contribution. Hata kuangalia homework. The idea is, this is what runs a home, not money. This obsession with money is what is breaking homes. And homes don't bring, money doesn't bring happiness past on its own. The place of cohabitation, we have already spelled it out. I have given you the case from the Supreme Court. Presumption of marriage is on deathbed. So the best way is time the jubilee. But women have a lot of wisdom. And some of us can, those ones who are not yet formalized, look for a way of canvassing your way to the altar or registrar's office. That is what I think. Because this is not a good place. You are in a potentially polygamous place. And some people actually deny marriage. There's one case I did, and the person said, oh, she was visiting girlfriend. She used to come. Yani umevisit hata ukazaa. So, and that's why I say don't keep running away, because I've realized men use that running away. They say, oh, she kept coming and going. So she was not serious about marriage. So unless your life is in danger, usitoroke. So land disputes, death before transfer. Once a person dies, everything of theirs, including that incomplete transaction, everything goes to something we call the estate of the deceased. So you pursue it under the estate of the deceased. It is possible. So the challenge is always getting to know who is the administrator, and some families take so long to take letters of administration. But there is a process in the Succession Act called citation. You can issue a citation to someone who should take, I'm talking about a situation where maybe the seller of the land died before the transfer was done. So that property now falls under the estate of that person. You can try to activate the process by issuing a citation, which is just a letter use, a court process, like a summary. You take to the heirs of the deceased and you say you should be taking letters, but you're not taking. If you don't take, I will take. It's more like a threat, like kuamsha watu. So the Succession Act has some tools that can be used in such a case, but you have to pursue the estate. The property is not lost, it's still yours. It is the same where Mzee died before he finished the transaction. Sasa nisisi tumeachiwa hii kitu. So it falls under the estate, we complete it, we get letters of administration, we pursue the seller, we are able to complete the transaction. Joint property, someone wants to sell, they're in trouble. Because who signs? Because joint property, two things, you have to consent to sell and you have to sign the papers. And sometimes you say out of caution, please place a caveat, because there are many corrupt Kenyans. So it's helpful to place a caveat, so ule ananunua akifika huko akute mama ameweka caveat, any reasonable Kenyan runs away. Kwanza akiona mama baba ameweka caveat. So you can secure it as you negotiate. But if it's a property you can sell without prejudice, it's not a matrimonial home, maybe bargain for your 50%, I don't know. It depends on the circumstances. Inheritance, my brother's head, they ran behind my back, they got a grant. It is now confirmed, there is a certificate of confirmation of grant. You can still challenge that grant. It's like a title which is acquired. Can I be heard? Yes, a grant. Yes, a grant which is illegally acquired is like a title which is illegally acquired. You cannot disinherit one person and you get a grant and you say, hooray, we have the certificate of confirmation. No. That grant can be nullified by the court. Because equality in inheritance is a constitutional right. It can't just be taken by cheeky people who hide in one corner. However, if you suspect your siblings are cheeky and you can get a grant behind your back, just keep checking in Kenya law or the Kenya Gazette in the CITAM.